Normally on this channel, I'm telling you the story of the history of baseball in Philadelphia. But today, I'm going to tell you a story that involves my pup, Derby. And bear with me, because it will all come together in just a moment. Welcome to Philadelphia Baseball History. On this channel, we talk about the history of baseball from the A's to the Phillies to the 19th century. And sometimes we talk about contemporary baseball issues. So if you love baseball and if you love Philadelphia, stick around and subscribe to our channel. Show your hometown pride. Philadelphia baseball history merchandise, t-shirts, phone cases, masks, notebooks, mugs, and more. Check out the exclusive designs in our merch store and celebrate your favorite Philadelphia-based team. So this is Derby, and well, he's not quite a pup anymore. And here he is celebrating his 10th birthday.
Happy birthday, dear Derby. Happy birthday to you.
That's a homemade meatball my daughter made him for his birthday. We fell in love with him at the shelter 8 years ago. He had an adopted brother, a bonded pair. His name was Frosty, and trust me, they loved each other. Sadly, Frosty is no longer with us, but they became a beloved part of our family. We took them everywhere. And at times we would bring Derby and Frosty into the car with us, and they would be our mascots at Little League games. We would bring them to Bark in the Park night at local minor league ball games. Frosty was a little protective. He wasn't a big fan of the mascots. And that's me making sure he didn't go after the right fielder. He wasn't very fond of him. And as you know, baseball eventually announced that it was postponing the season. Now there was talk about when the season would restart, and we had to accept that when it did, it was going to start with no fans in the stands. And I was a little worried because I remembered how eerie it was when Baltimore had to play a few games with no fans in the stands because of some problems they were having in that city. But leave it to the Japanese and the South Koreans to figure out how to handle this problem. Some games they had robots in the stands. Some games they had mannequins. Some ideas were a little naughtier than others. And in some games they had cutouts. So when the Phillies announced that they were going to do cutouts for this season and invited fans to send in pictures, I got pretty excited. And I immediately thought that it would be a good idea to have Derby have his own cutout. So we went outside and took some new pictures of Derby, found one that was good enough to submit, and here's how the Phillies translated that into a cutout to be put in the stadium. And when you went online to check, Derby had really good seats. He was right behind the Phillies dugout, and he had an aisle seat just in case he, needed to go. In fact, the Phillies did some cool things with their cutouts, like salute the frontline healthcare workers and bring attention to childhood cancer. When the season was over, I was really excited when the Phillies said that we could come and pick up our cutouts. But I live in Northern Virginia, and I'm not in very good shape for traveling. So my parents, who lived in Delaware, decided to help me out. They arrived at the appointed time and showed us how others were there to pick up their cutouts. And then took the walk to the front of the stadium. The team store was open. In fact, you could even use your cutout as a discount at the team store. And they saw more people picking up their cutouts. And then they reached the gate. And they met with this helpful fellow, who explained to them all the rules of what they were going to do to keep each other safe. He was going to take their temperature, and only one person was going to be allowed into the stadium at a time. He answered any other questions that my parents had. And then my dad got to go in the stadium and pick up my cutout. You could see the whole sea of cutouts that the Phillies had. Somehow my dad talked the usher into taking a picture of them. Shh, don't tell anyone. And this was Derby's view. Better than any view I've ever had at a Phillies game. As I said, he had an aisle seat right behind the Phillies dugout. I do wonder if any of the Phillies noticed him. And afterwards, my parents rewarded themselves with their favorite roast beef restaurant. And I'd say that the cutout program was a big success. Not only was it fun to watch during the season, kept us entertained, but the Phils made over $300,000 towards charity. So way to go, Phillies fans.
Oh, hey. You know, there's no denying it. As far as on the field, 2020 may have been a disappointing season for the Phillies. But as far as treating the fans are concerned, the Phillies are and always have been a class organization.
So thanks, Phils. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. If you have any ideas for topics that we can cover in the future, please let us know in the comments below. If you would like to see more of these videos, please consider becoming a patron through Patreon. Again, we'll have a link in the description box below.